In today's podcast, I'm going to talk about motivation. Every now and then, people will ask me, Ryan, how do you stay so motivated? How come you're so disciplined all the time? And I think most people fundamentally misunderstand the nature of motivation. And so I'm going to share all of my tips, tricks, hacks, everything I do that helps me stay motivated and disciplined. And I'll give it all to you in the event that it might be helpful. Who am I? My name is Ryan Rice. I'm a full-time real estate investor. I've been doing this 4 years full-time. And I share all this stuff with the hopes that it makes you some more money in your real estate business or in any business that you're working on for that matter. I'm going to start with the definition of motivation, or how I define it. Someone's desire to do something, or maybe the reason why people do something. I personally have desire to do things because I'm very, very clear on my destination. I'm very clear where I'm going. And I know exactly what it is that I want. And I'm very clear on why I want the things that I want. And because I'm very clear as to what I want, then I can simply ask myself the question over and over, what are the behaviors that are going to get me closer to where it is that I want to go? And then I can just execute on those behaviors. And for me, it's really that simple. And it's not that I want to do the behaviors any more than you do, right? I just know what it is that I want. And I'm very clear on the behaviors that are going to get me there. Or at least I'm willing to try what is going to get me closer to what it is that I want. And then after I try, I'll learn more about what it is that I did. And I'll be able to deduce whether or not it gets me closer. And then I just put that cycle on repeat until I do get closer to what it is that I want. When people ask me, how are you motivated to do something? Here's how I hear that question. To me, that sounds like the question, how are you motivated to stop and put gas in your car? I don't know anyone in the world who is so super motivated to stop and put gas in their car. But we're, quote, motivated to do it because if not, then we know that we're not going to get to our destination. We're driving somewhere, and if we don't put gas or we run out of gas, we're not going to get there. Now, many people won't put gas in their car because they're simply not driving anywhere, right? And I think a lot of people confuse that with a lack of motivation. If you're not driving anywhere, if you're not driving your car, then you obviously don't need to stop and put gas in it. There's no destination set. And so if you don't need to get anywhere, then you don't need gas. And I believe that to be the equivalent of not knowing what it is that you want, not having that clarity. So let's say you're unclear on your health goals. If you are unclear on your health goals, then you're not going to go to the gym. You won't stop putting food in your mouth, right? If you have clarity and you know where you're going from a health perspective, then you're motivated to do what is required to get there. So let's go a little bit further into this health example. You might say, well, Ryan, I'm clear. I know that I want to lose 25 pounds. The problem is that's the equivalent of saying, well, I'm in Virginia and I know that I want to drive to Ohio. Well, why are you driving to Ohio, right? You can be clear where you want to go, but if there's not a really, really good reason, then screw that. I don't want to drive to Ohio. That's a 5-hour drive. I don't have a good enough reason to drive there. But if you say, well, the girl of my dreams lives in Ohio and I want to see her because I want to propose to her, then you have a really good reason. You're going to be motivated to drive there. So let's take this example back to health. You want to lose 25 pounds, but why do you want to lose it? Is it because society expects you to look a certain way? Is it because there's this one asshole you've been seeking approval from and he called you fat one time and so you want to lose it so you can give him the middle finger? You see, if the reasons of why you want something aren't good enough, then when the first sign of resistance arises, you're going to stop. Because you know down deep that you shouldn't give a shit what society expects you to look like. You know down deep that you don't care about the guy who called you fat. And so the second that the pain of doing the thing exceeds the pain that, the guy who called you fat caused, then you're just going to stop because you're motivated by that individual. But if I want to lose 25 pounds so that I can feel good about myself, so that I can optimize my health, so that I can teach my daughter how to be healthy, so that I can run a marathon because I've always wanted to run one, so that I can maximize my energy and show up my best for those around me. And I'm not saying those are the reasons why I do healthy things. I'm just saying those are some examples of reasons that might give you a little bit more conviction, right? If you have reasons that can give you conviction, then you don't need motivation because you simply have clarity on what it is that you want. So when you have that clarity, you then don't have to want to pull over and put gas in your car. You simply know where you're going, and that in order to get there, you have to stop and go to the gym today, right? It's a prerequisite of getting to your destination. And that's where people get confused. Nobody is motivated to stop and put gas in their car, but everyone knows exactly where they're going, and they know that by putting gas in their car, that's the only way that they're going to get to where they're going. It's the same thing with everything else that you want in life. Most of you who aren't motivated to either start your dream business or who aren't disciplined to go to bed at 9 p.m. each night so that you can wake up at 5 a.m. to work, it's because you just don't know what it is that you want. Or maybe your reasons aren't good enough. So let's take this to finances. You knew at some point you wanted to, quote, make a lot of money, but your reasons sucked. You wanted a good house in a good neighborhood. You wanted to look cool in front of your friends. You wanted to impress somebody who doesn't give a shit about you. You wanted to go to college and get a job so you could afford to take trips that you want to take because you know people will think you're successful and you love posting the Instagram highlight reel flaunting your trips that you take. The problem is when it starts to get hard, when you have to make sacrifices to get what it is that you want, you're going to be like, well, screw all of them. Because you know deep down, their opinions shouldn't matter to you in the first place. But you're not in enough pain to change because what you're doing now affords you your current lifestyle. And if you were to change, it means a reduction in status, which means you'd have to go through the pain of disappointing everyone we just talked about. And plus, money is the root of all evil anyways, right? Rich people are just greedy motherfuckers that don't do anything good for the world, right? So you just keep doing what you're doing. But if your reason is strong enough, if you say, I want to make X amount of money so it's never an object for me because I want to meet the person capable of developing the skills required to make that money. I want to give back to this cause that I'm passionate about. I want to impact this many thousands of people for this specific reason. And I want to completely change this one part of people's lives because this is something that impacted me when I grew up and I want to make that impact to others. Then you have a reason that gives you conviction. And then when things get hard, it doesn't matter how hard they are because you're so clear on what it is that you want and why you want it. You continue the behavior because you know it's going to get you closer to where you want to go. And here's the thing, we can't stop here, right? It doesn't end here for my quote motivation. Our reasons why we do things or the reasons why we want things are impacted by our belief systems. And so you have to have clarity on what you want and why you want it. But then here comes our belief systems. If you have poor beliefs around certain things, that is going to impact what it is that we want. So let's take it back to the health example. If you have the belief that people who go to the gym all the time, they're so vain. I don't want to be seen as vain. That's going to decrease my status. I don't want people to I don't want to be out with friends and my friends say, oh, you're just having a salad today. What, are you too good for us? Or, oh, you're not going to have any alcohol. What, are you too cool for us now? I believe that my friends thinking that I'm, quote, fun is really important. And I believe that if I go to the gym every day, it means I'm a bad mom because it means I see my kids less. Right? Whatever the beliefs are, if we fill our heads with all of these bullshit beliefs, then those beliefs are going to impact what it is that we want and why we think that we want it. And so in order to get clear on what we want, we have to challenge all of these self-limiting beliefs first. And the thing is, most of us grew up all around these beliefs, and it can be very difficult to challenge beliefs that we grew up in. And so let's take it back to finances. I want to make a whole bunch of money, right? And then here come these beliefs. Well, how much money do you really need to make? Are you just a greedy piece of shit capitalist who wants to accumulate things? When is enough enough? I mean, if you're making a couple $100,000 per year, isn't that plenty of money? You are greedy as hell, right? You see, when we have these beliefs, many of them can be subconscious. And if we don't bring them into our consciousness and actively work on them, then we can't get clear on what we want in a big, audacious way because our beliefs are going to tell us that what we want is stupid or that we shouldn't want those things. And so when we're defining what we want and those limited beliefs pop up, we have to address them head on, directly. We don't suppress them and pretend like they're not important. We don't call them stupid. We simply say, okay, this belief is popping up in my head. Is it serving me? Is it a belief that's getting me closer to being a better version of myself or further away? And if it moves me closer to an improved me, then at least you know that you're directionally correct. And I'm going to close this out with one of my favorite quotes. We question all of our beliefs except those we truly believe and those we never think to question. And when it comes to, quote, motivation, many of you just need to question some beliefs that you've never questioned before. And how do I know? Because it's exactly what I did. So in summary, motivation is complete bullshit. Clarity and an excellent belief system is everything. So next time you pull off to get gas in your car, ask yourself how motivated you were to do so. And then just get back to work. Thanks. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.